live stream. Want to make sure this is working because I don't want to mess up or anything. This is Jacob Cast 2024. Gonna do Monday Night Raw, November 24th. The go home show for Survivor Series Wargames was in OKC. Alright, hold on. Now before I start Fortnite, just want to make sure this is working. Make sure you guys hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below y'all want to see more. My video is sponsored by JD from New York, Fightful Pro Wrestling, Solomon the Sound Off, and other podcasters that I know. Hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below y'all want to see more. Alright, so yeah. Just want to say thank you for watching, thank you for all the support. Gonna do Monday Night Raw. It just went off the air at 10:30. I'm starting this at 11 o'clock. I'm gonna show you all the other podcasters before I talk about the show. Well, it was decent. It was a fine go-home show. We had some good matches in the tournament. There's some things that we teased here. Storyline development. Now, obviously, the show opened up with Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk. Now, clearly, they're teasing Punk and Roman for the title. Reigns, Cody, and Punk struggle with the fact that they're teaming up. And then we got a backstage segment with the Vision. And then we got a segment with Dirty Dom takes on John Cena, but not John Cena, this mini John Cena, this midget who pretended John Cena. We had a great match with Gunther versus Carmelo Hayes in the tournament. Gunther defeated Carmelo Hayes in a very good match, so clearly Gunther gonna advance to the tournament. Dominic blasted little John Cena with the 619, give him to the curb, and then Ray came out to help him. And then we got Rey Mysterio defeated JD McDonough in a pretty good match. Then we got Ivy Nile and Roxanne Perez and Maxine Dupree. Clearly they're setting up Roxanne Perez to take that title from Maxine Dupree. Yeah, clearly that's being set up. And then we got the Women's War Game. We got the face-to-face. I don't think they did an advantage for it, did they? I don't think so. Then we really got a brawl with all five women. AJ, Rhea Ripley, and company initially a brawl with the heels. Yeah, so might as well show y'all some of the podcasters here. Hold on.
The mistake of floating in the corner. Carmelo came in with a power bomb out of the corner. He went for a springboard move, but got taken out with a chop. And then Carmelo was able to counter Gunther's powerbomb attempt with a DDT. Gunther tried to chop Carmelo, but hit the ring post by mistake. Carmelo did win the veteran now. So
that was
home show, a little lackluster.
That was no DQ. And then we got Joe Cronin.
A lot of other people too.
Let's see, a John Cena Fanatics t-shirt.
Here's for Fightful.
In comparison to his health. Now, if for some reason Penta is good Thursday or Friday, you can say, hey guys, we're just going to run that back on Monday, okay? We'll just run that back on Monday. Or, you know, maybe he's good for this weekend, and they want to add it. So, yeah.
He is very much happy to be there.
He is very much. I think that's just legitimate for him at this point.
Yeah, man. Hey, Punk, what's your...
Thursday nights, AEW, Dynamite, and Dynamite only. He only works prime time, ladies and gentlemen. All right, who else was here? Lauren Biggs. Lauren Biggs, I still have your T-shirt coming. Just give me a little bit more time.
Still kind of hoped for it.
Look, we're taking the...
For Santi. So this is the part of the Cody, which a lot of people... And Santi, I have a plan!
Alright, let's hear this
Out on my message?
Hold on, I'm about to show Denise Salcedo and Shanti.
I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was amazing. The Brock Lesnar slip, that saved the show for me.
Alright, well then that's it. We're going home, guys. We don't got nothing else for the show. No, there was something real big that we gotta talk about. And that is Roman Reigns basically saying he's either coming for Cody Rhodes or for CM Punk or both.
I hope it's Punk. I hope it's Punk. Not because I don't want to see Roman Cody. That was a great saga, but I've seen it. I haven't seen this in a proper singles environment. We saw it in a triple threat at WrestleMania. But I feel like there's just so much more to explore right now in CM Punk versus Roman Reigns than there is in Cody Rhodes versus Roman. On top of that, when I look at Cody going into WrestleMania, I'm looking at Randy Orton as the guy that I want there, right? And it might end up being Brock Lesnar, by the way. Like, you know, if you want to look at like the four men that are sitting at the poker table, we could be looking at Roman Punk and Cody versus Brock Lesnar as WrestleMania matches. But if you're asking me what title I would prefer Roman to go for, one, the one that Punk is holding, and two, I kind of want him to make amends for calling that the loser's title. And having Roman go after it, I think is a good way to kind of put that little blemish on that world title under the table, because people always bring it up. People always bring up the fact that Roman called that the loser's title, and if now we can say Roman is going to go after that title, then maybe we can remove that baggage that world heavyweight title currently has.
It's funny because even though he said that, I'm like, well, I don't really care, because when Seth Rollins basically brought the title, he killed him, man. He went out there and had like so many great matches. So even though Roman said that, I never saw the title that way, because to me the best title was the one with the best matches, and that one was the one with the best matches. So I don't see it that way.
Sure, it's the one with the best matches, but it was always clear in terms of especially WrestleMania billing, which was the number one, right? Like even with the super workhorse cornerstone of the WWE and a Seth Rollins, even when he carried the title into WrestleMania, it was only good enough for an opener of WrestleMania, right? So, and even when there wasn't double bloodline stuff headlining both nights of WrestleMania like there was at 39 and at 40, and at 41, it still couldn't get the night one main event. So there is a very clear hierarchy here, and I do think Roman going after that world heavyweight title is going to help that title. That title does need that aura boost, I would say.
Ooh, the aura boost. We were just talking about that today, how there's only select few who got the aura. But no, okay, you mentioned that you want to see Roman and Punk one-on-one. That's exactly what I wanted last year at WrestleMania, because to me, that was the marquee match, that was the money match, and when they added Seth Rollins to that, I was very surprised that it wasn't so as obvious to them as it was to like me and so many other fans. However, Santi, I haven't seen a lot of fans that they actually want to see Cody versus CM Punk. Like, that's been another one that a lot of people want to see one-on-one for WrestleMania. So what is bigger? Is it Cody versus CM Punk, or is it Roman versus CM Punk? I think it's Roman Punk, but when you think about like the overall majority of fans, what do you think they would go for?
It's interesting. I'm a believer, and longtime viewers of my channel know that I love saying, hey, if it's there, do it. Don't overthink it. This is what happens when you don't do it. You didn't do Rock versus Roman. Look at where we're at now. Couldn't do it at 40. Couldn't do it at 41. Now we might never get it. Should have done it at 39 when it was there. If it's there and available, do it. CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes is always there. They're both full-timers. Roman is not. Roman's ability to be there is one of like the is a major limiting factor, obviously. So if that match that we are clamoring for, Roman versus CM Punk, or versus CM Punk or Cody Rhodes, if they're both there available, I say go with the one that's hardest to book, the one that's harder to pin down. Get it done. Do Roman versus Punk because you never know when you can get the opportunity to do it again.
Yes, because you got two things that you mentioned right there. Is Roman is always in and out. That's one thing. One of the biggest things with CM Punk, obviously when he came back, was he got hurt. And CM Punk thankfully hasn't gotten hurt, but that's always something that you kind of have in the back of your mind. So again, I'm with you on that, where if you want to do it, if you have the ability to do it, just do it, right? And then where does this leave Cody? We don't exactly know where this leaves Cody. So part of me was wondering, okay, we got three scenarios here. We either end up in a scenario where all these guys go in a triple threat match. WWE has been loving doing that as of late. That was the theme of last year's WrestleMania, these triple threat matches. Or we end up with Roman and Punk, or Cody versus Punk. So, Roman or Cody. So there's all of these different scenarios that we can end up. We can get that third match with Roman and Cody, which a lot of people were wondering when that was going to happen. But personally, that was like the least one that I would consider, only because we can't really keep going to the same well for WrestleMania. I want to see something new, and I think Roman and Punk is the story. I want to see them really explore more so what they kind of started with Paul Heyman. I want them to explore how they're both at the very top of their game. I want them to really fucking go at it on the microphone. Like, do not hold back. And if they did, who's the babyface, who's the heel? Because there are people that want to see CM Punk as a heel.
It's funny, somebody brought up the fact that they think that this is the worst version of CM Punk ever, with how good he is. And I said, you're right, but this version of CM Punk is still better than most of the main roster. I agree. I kind of want to see CM Punk as a dastardly evil piece of shit. It's kind of crazy to think about, Denise. There is a whole generation, a whole ass generation of wrestling fans that have not seen heel evil CM Punk. Because we haven't seen it since 2014, 2013, right? Because in AEW's entire run was babyface, albeit sometimes a little bit heelish with everything that was going on there with the real life stuff. But there's an entire generation of wrestling fans. There's a huge contingency of people that got into wrestling in the of popularity in 2022. They have not, I believe, they have not seen CM Punk. They haven't seen 10% of what CM Punk is all about.
I 100% agree with that. I feel like, here's the thing. For me, part of why I want to see CM Punk as a heel, or why some people might also want to see that, is because when he came, okay, I hate to use the real life stuff, but when he came off of AEW, and he kind of had this really bad reputation. Like, I remember so many people would go and trash CM Punk. He was being trashed on social media. On every single platform that I was on, people were like, F this guy. We hate him. He's a horrible person. And I'm sure most of you guys saw that on social media. And then, when he went to WWE, there was a little piece where people were like, oh, is he going to be able to get along with people? Is he going to be a troublemaker? Is he going to cause problems? And there were some people that were suddenly being like, yeah, like, we forgive everything, like, CM Punk's so awesome, right? And that hate sort of I wouldn't say totally disappeared, but it definitely did decrease a whole lot. But I think that going from this, like, guy who caused so much, like, drama and had all these problems backstage at AEW to then be, like, this corporate good guy for TKO on WWE side, it was so different. And I think fans were kind of thinking, damn, we kind of want to see this, like, a-hole CM Punk that we saw, with Jack Perry in this video, and all of the crazy stories we heard about the Brawl Out and the Scrum and everything that went down with that. And what you're seeing in WWE is polar opposite. And I think in a way you want to see that a-hole CM Punk on the main roster.
Yeah, and it's insane to think that so many wrestling fans, so many people that watch you and me have not gotten a chance to see that yet.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's go ahead and bring in a couple of super chats that we got here. We got John Taylor here who says, oh wait, I already read that one, my apologies. Okay, here we go. This is John. He says, no, I'm not secretly Denise's deadbeat gangster dad. Orale, vatos locos forever. How is that our first super chat of the day?
I like
we got
it.
Intracool here who says, how about him, Brockmaster? Aww.
Oh, I like that. Oh, fuck. People are going to meme that. The Brockmaster. You know what, Andrew Cool, I'm going to steal that joke and give you absolutely no credit for it. I'm taking it. Yeah. When you watch my upcoming video, I'm going to make that reference. You'll know I stole it from you, but I will not tell anybody that it came from you.
Don't worry, Andrew Cool will have that like self pat in the back, you know. We got Ryan Impson here. Didn't write a message, but thank you so much for the super chat nonetheless. We got John Taylor here who says Santi's a coward. Sancho would never. That's in reference to the I Love LA t-shirt. Yes. We got Jay Cal here who says can't believe we both got a slip and rip from Brock.
Yeah, the ripped pants, the slip. Yeah, speaking of slip, can you believe that Roman asked Punk and Cody Rhodes to slip it out? Hey, why don't you just whip it out, slip it out, and measure?
I was so disappointed in the fans that nobody chanted, take it out, or however it is that he said it. I was chanting it. I was like, come on, let's go. Blue Chew, promo code Denise. All right, thank you so much,
As a YouTuber that does ad reads, well done, Denise.
You know it. That's the one good thing I've got going. All right, we got infamous Raider Loco here who says, Santi gonna surprise you at Survivor Series with that Triple H pose with you and you take a pic pointing to his I Love LA shirt. Book it. You swear Santi's gonna take his I Love LA shirt to Survivor Series?
There's a 0% chance that's gonna happen.
Man. All right, we got Brock Ross Jr. here who says Brock Lesnar and Logan Paul working together is still crazy. Like, I would have expected Lesnar to be the type of person that hates an outsider like Logan being part of this business. You would think so, but I guess we don't really know him the way you thought you might know him. Who knows?
I think Heyman's a business guy at the end of the day. Sees the business and what Logan brings to the table and takes advantage of it.
That's true. I kind of forgot about, like, the mastermind and Paul Heyman sort of being like, oh, this kid, this, like, influencer, YouTuber kid. Or who knows? I don't know what the extent of Brock's knowledge on Logan Paul is. I don't know. Thank you, Bob. We got John Taylor here who says, things that will never happen. GTA 6, Denise loving the Death Riders, Sancho on the thumbnail, and Santi wearing an I Love LA shirt.
I will wear the shirt. I will wear it.
You have to, because all of these things were not bets. This was a bet. Yours was a bet.
All right. It's going to happen, Denise. Relax. I promise.
My blood pressure goes up every week from this argument. Jacob Tatum here says, how long do you expect Maxine Dupree title reign will last? Plus, how excited would you be for Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania in Vegas? Let's start with Braun Breaker and Brock Lesnar since we're on the topic here. I think this one is going to feel like almost like a young Brock Lesnar versus like current Brock Lesnar, because here's the thing, there's one thing that Braun and Brock have very much in common, and that is the level of intensity that they're able to reach in a matchup, and I think that is going to be appealing for a lot of people. Santi, when you think of this match here, is this something that's very high up on your list?
It is. Somebody in my chat had fantasy booked the idea of heel standing tall at the end of Wargames, and it ends with, in mid-celebration, Braun Breaker spearing Brock Lesnar. I kind of like that. Like, if we close the show like that, you know, to set something big for Braun Breaker, which we've said, it feels like this build-up to Survivor Series has really cooled Braun Breaker's momentum. Maybe that could be a great way to just superstart it immediately off the back of this, because I think we're all expecting Brock Lesnar is going to be gone for a while, right, after War Games. So an attack from the Vision or Braun Breaker on Brock Lesnar to end the show would be a hype way to end. And it gives Brock Lesnar a reason to be gone for a while, and then he makes his big return. Yeah, I could see it playing out in some capacity like that.
I like that. That would be a wake-up call, right?
Hold up. Domino's medium specialty pizzas are just $9.99 when I mix and match. I figured premium pizzas, premium prices.
Would be WV here. It says, love your girlie, but our bet was from 9:13, so give Santi a little grace. And I love you gave my boy Steph his props, and you didn't have to lose a bet. That is true. I still owe Tracy too.
Wow! Hypocrisy! Hypocrisy! Tracy, I am going to embargo this LA shirt until you get what you deserve. I don't know what the bet was for.
Don't worry, I'm doing the Black Friday sale. Like, I'm gonna get my t-shirt on Black Friday.
Wait, what did you lose? What do you have to do?
I forgot what happened, but it was like a thing that happened on the show, and then Tracy basically said, like, I forgot what happened, because it's been a minute. But basically, I have to go on WWE Shop, and I'm getting like either a shirt from NXT. It's honestly a nice bet. I'm getting a shirt from NXT or a shirt from NXT or a shirt from AAA. It was gonna be one of those. So it's not like your bet where you gotta wear something embarrassing. Like mine is of my choice.
Okay.
Tracy's
All right.
nice. Not mean like you, son. Alright, thank you, Tracy. We got Juan Lamelli here who says, can't believe we got to see Santi play John Cena on Raw.
Come on. Are you serious?
What'd you think about that, man?
So the first thing I said, I was like, oh man, this screamed Vince. You know, like, little people is funny, right? Everybody point and laugh. But as low-hanging fruit, I did not mean that as a joke. Low-hanging fruit, as it was, Psycho, who is from Micro Wrestling, the little John Cena, he did really well. So I don't want to take away from the fact that I thought like it was just, it was funny, but it's just so one-dimensional and so dumb. But I want to give Psycho his props because I thought he played the role of Cena really, really well.
I thought Dominic was going to get more heat from this, but to me, it felt like the crowd was a little unsure. I dare say maybe uncomfortable. Maybe they weren't sure how to really react to it. How should they feel about it? Is this going to be done in good taste and poor taste? How is this going to be done? And we all knew it was going to end with a big boot on him, because that's just how these segments work, right?
Always, yeah.
We know that, but I mean, I was kind of, I'm like, if they're going to do it, I would hope it at least get Dominic some heat, but it almost felt like it was unnecessary.
It didn't, I don't think it did anything for anybody. If anything, like I said, the biggest winner here was Psycho, the guy that played Cena. The only part that I found like really, really funny that I was like, okay, I actually think this is hilarious, was how meta it was to see Stu filming Little Stu film Little
cute.
Cena. I actually like that.
Cute.
I actually like that.
Yeah,
but like, I don't think that, I actually don't think that segment landed the way that they probably wanted to. I did kind of like that.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Samantha, for asking that. Alrighty, let me go through a couple more topics here and see what else we got to get into. We already talked about the Dominic stuff. Oh, I think all we got is really... We got anything else? Oh, yeah, Women's Wargames. Yeah, Women's Wargames, they just kind of fucked each other up. That was basically it. We got that AJ Lee promo.
They felt each other up?
No, I said they fucked each other up.
Oh, I thought you said felt each other up. I'm like, what?
I would never say it like that.
Chad, go back, rewind the tape. No. I thought she said felt each other up. That's why I was like, whoa, all right, Denise. Promo code Denise, I get it. You're peddling the dick pills.
I said fuck each other up. And then I was like, oh yeah, and then there was an AJ Lee promo. That's all I got.
Hey,
I'm
okay.
excited for this.
Can I ask a question that might require a controversial answer?
Oh, I think I know what it is. I think I can guess your question.
Do you like AJ Lee promos?
I knew you were gonna ask that because I felt it. During the promo, I felt it. It felt like there was a little bit of a struggle between the character AJ Lee and AJ Lee. It felt like there was a clash of what am I saying right now, what am I doing? I also think some lines didn't hit the way that they were supposed to. I'm wondering if it was the crowd, I'm wondering if it was the delivery. I did feel that it wasn't spot on though.
Could it be because she had to follow up what I thought was one of the best promos of the last couple of months in the women's division from Becky Lynch? The way Becky introduced her team is like what I want Paul Heyman to do when he infinitely introduces his team. I thought Becky Lynch did it way better.
Right, but a good promo, even if you're seeing another good promo, is still gonna hit hard if it's good.
Fair. So no is your answer.
My answer is no. And I love AJ Lee, but I did feel it in that moment, and I felt it in the crowd, and I felt it, because you can feel that stuff. I felt the pauses, I felt all of that. It just didn't come through the way that I think they've hoped for on paper. But I think a lot of that probably just has to do with the rustiness of having to get back in there and cut these live promos and do the stuff that she has to do, given that this is a muscle she hasn't flexed in a very long time. So I think it was just rustiness.
Yeah, I didn't think it was very good.
And I knew you were going to ask me. I knew it!
Yeah, it's a tough question to ask because I feel like a lot of people don't want to jump on the criticizing AJ Lee bandwagon. But I think we might need to start doing it. I didn't think her promo was very good here. Somebody in my chat described it in a way where I'm like, oh, I kind of see it. Cringe millennial pacing. You know, like, you know what they're saying?
Yeah, I get it. Where it's like, I'm gonna go get some iced latte.
Yeah, it's the cringe millennial pacing of her promos that might be doing it for me. And as a fellow millennial, I'm like, I hear it, I see it. Yeah,
we're millennials. So what does that say about us?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. All right, we got JJ Castillo here. It says, question, how can WWE improve in 2026 in terms of booking, etc., considering how underwhelming 2025 was for WWE? I would say reward the fans and the storytelling. That's my biggest thing. I hate when we start things and we don't finish things, or they... You guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Scammers demand payment with gift cards. Don't share codes or personal details.
Hey, so I'm getting ready for my day, but I'm in a hammock 100 feet up. What should I listen to?
First off, why are you in a hammock? Also, I didn't know you can message inside the Spotify app.
Yeah, I slept here.
We'll see. But this was a very enjoyable match here. Second best of the entire tournament so far. Backstage, people that this was honestly when I saw this made my night. This was his Shockmaster moment. We got the Brockmaster tonight. The Brockmaster was the best part of the entire show. And I never thought that they would bring back Brock Lesnar and he would be the best comic relief on the show. But here we are. First he splits his pants on SmackDown. Now he's falling down on his ass on Raw. But at least he rolled with it. He came out to make his entrance here during the main event, and Paul Heyman is standing right next to him, and his pyro's about to go off, and he goes, "Arr!" and he slips on his fucking cowboy boots, and he does a complete back roll. And to his credit, he popped right back up on his feet, and he laughed it off, because really, in that situation, what the fuck are you supposed to do? I mean, if you can't laugh at yourself, what are you supposed to do in that situation? So as soon as I saw that, I said, okay, before I do anything else here, I have to go ahead and mock up the Brockmaster. Yes, best believe that's going to be Super Chat after tonight. So that was how they went off the air tonight, with Brock falling on his ass, coming down to the ring after that with his teammates, and then they had the obligatory big brawl here to end the show, like they do before a Royal Rumble. Typically, you get a bunch of people out there and they have a big brawl in the middle of the ring. This was their last real hard sell. For the men's and the women's Wargames matches this weekend, we had the women's teams having a confrontation in the middle of the ring. They had a brawl as well. Not a particularly great one, but they had a brawl. We had a back and forth. Not even really a back and forth, because Becky Lynch spoke first, then the baby faces came out. But AJ Lee got some promo time for the first time in a long time here on the show. And, going into these War Games matches, now that we... forget SmackDown on Friday. I mean, seeing the spoilers, the tape show, not a big deal. But now that I have seen all that there is to see, and we know the situation and who's going to have the advantage, at least on the men's side, I won't spoil who's going to get the advantage on the women's side for those of you who haven't, seen it, or you want to wait to watch the show on Friday. The key thing here is that there is a lot of star power in these matches. They got AJ Lee in her first War Games match. You got Brock Lesnar in his first War Games match. You've got on the babyface side on the men's team alone, you've got Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and CM Punk. right? And on the other side, you've got Brock and you've got Drew McIntyre. And then on the women's side, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte and AJ and Becky. So definitely some big names in these matches. On the babyface side, men's-wise, there are people that are in the match that make sense. Cody Rhodes is the most prominent one who really stands out. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And it was one of those situations where they wanted him on the show, they needed something for him to do, and so they decided to shoehorn him into the Wargames match, where he really doesn't have a specified role. You know, once Cody was announced for the match, you knew Drew McIntyre would follow. But Roman Reigns, right? He has been attacked by the Vision, so it makes sense why he would want to be in that match. The Usos have been feuding with the Vision. It makes sense why they would be in there. CM Punk, same thing. Cody just feels very shoehorned in there, even though on Friday he cut this short but incredible babyface promo to really sell the match. So that's one of my only real issues with the match on the men's side. And on the women's side, look, you know, the Lash Legend, this is her big, you know, PLE debut here in WWE, so I'm sure she'll have a good showing in that match. Nia Jax had a very forgettable showing in the one last year. Becky and AJ have had issues for a few months, so obviously, you know, having them on opposing sides makes sense. But it's just one of those years where you look at this and go, does it really feel like there is a hot issue? On the men's side or the women's side, frankly, maybe more so the women's side, but a real issue that necessitates war games. And that'll be a question that gets debated by people. And should they be doing war games every year? No, they shouldn't. And they really should reserve it for those occasions where it feels like, okay, we need a war games this year. And I'm not so sure that this year falls under that category. But the one thing you can't say about these two matches is that they don't have star power in them. They absolutely do. But we also have to turn to a different subject, because War Games is not the only thing happening at Survivor Series. John Cena will be on the show. It will be his final Survivor Series, and he will be defending the Intercontinental title against Dominic Mysterio. John Cena was not on the show tonight. A version of John Cena was on the show tonight. John Cena himself was not on the show tonight. But they're running this tournament because after this Saturday, he's got one appearance left. And that last appearance will be his final match. That is coming up on December 13th. So right now, we are in the middle of this last time is now tournament. And today, we had two more matches in the tournament, two quarterfinal round matches, one of which had Gunther against Carmelo Hayes, who squeaked by with a countout win over Bronson Reed Friday night on SmackDown. And these two, now Gunther last week with Javon Evans, I mean, they had a killer match. My favorite match in the tournament so far, still, even after tonight, my favorite match in the tournament, Gunther and Javon from last week. But tonight, Gunther went out there with Carmelo Hayes, and they tore it up, and they had a very good match. The second best match. So Gunther's on a roll here in this tournament so far. And then we were supposed to have Solo Sikoa against Penta. And that is where everything fell apart. And it turned into a real disaster here in this tournament, especially given what we're left with now. Penta suffered an injury within the first 5 minutes of this match. And it was on a relatively simple maneuver, simple for Penta, where he came off the top of the barricade and did a Rana and took Solo down to the floor. Penta did not get up right away. And clearly he was in some degree of pain. There was something going on there, and the doctor rushed over. And they went to a commercial break, and when they came back, the referee called the match off. And Solo Sikoa was awarded the victory, which means in the semifinals of this tournament, to crown a final opponent for John Cena, next week we are going to be getting Gunther against Solo Sikoa. And obviously that's awful. I mean, forget heel against heel. Gunther against Penta is what we were supposed to get. Right? Not a doubt in my mind, that was the match we were supposed to get. And now we're not getting it, and the bigger story here, obviously, is Penta. Because how hurt is he? I'm telling you, I mean, this tournament is cursed. I don't understand what is going on this year with this company and shoulder injuries. Like, in this tournament alone, we just lost Sheamus, who was supposed to advance, and then we found out has a shoulder injury and had to forfeit his spot in the tournament. And wait until you find out who the replacement is on Friday. So Sheamus, shoulder injury, out of the tournament. Penta, shoulder injury, out of the tournament. Seth Rollins had to vacate his World Heavyweight Championship. Shoulder injury, surgery. Chad Gable, shoulder injury, surgery. Liv Morgan, shoulder injury, surgery. What is going on here? Like, this is insane. So, it sucks for Penta, it sucks for the rest of us who were hoping to see Gunther and Penta in the next round. I will note to you that Brian Alvarez of F4W Online, he posted an update saying that the match was scheduled to go 12 minutes. Again, it didn't even go 5. It was scheduled to go 12 minutes. Penta wanted to continue the match. He was not allowed to. He said that Penta wanted to try to, in his words, pop his shoulder back in, which would indicate a dislocation if that's the case, and the doctor would not allow it, and that is why they called off the match. I don't know if maybe that's a positive thing to indicate that it's not an overly serious injury, if it was simply, a case where it got popped out of the socket. We'll have to wait and see exactly how serious the injury is. Hopefully it's nothing that's going to keep him out for an extended period of time or require surgery like, all of these other people, which would be a worst case scenario. But even a best case scenario, he's out of the tournament, and I'm sure he's out of action for at least a little bit of time. And that really, really sucks. And look, injuries happen. This was not something that was planned for. You could even see Solo after the match was very unhappy, and I'm sure not just because the match went off the rails and they couldn't do what they were planning on doing, but because he was upset that somebody got hurt. And he even cussed out a fan. I don't know what the fan said to him, but somebody obviously mouthed off to him in the crowd. He told him, "Fuck you," as he was walking out with Tala Tonga. So that's the update as far as the tournament and as far as Penta is concerned. Not a great situation. That really cast a dark cloud on this show tonight, especially as we now head into a Gunther and Solo Sikoa match on the show next week. Gee, I wonder who's going to the final. I mean, if we're being honest here, even if Penta would have advanced, we all know who's going to the finals of this tournament. We all know who is winning this tournament. There's really no great mystery to it. But that is a match that I cannot sit here and tell you I'm looking forward to. But shit happens, and the circumstances obviously dictate otherwise. This was not a great episode of Raw. I thought it was a very, middling, run-of-the-mill episode. I mean, it wasn't, terrible, but it wasn't great either. It was just like, It was a very meh. That's what tonight's episode was. But we'll talk about all of it. This is your Monday Night Raw review. This review will not be meh. At least you could rely on that. It is Monday night. It is November 24th, 2025. I am the Solomonster. Yeah, there's another implication here, by the way, of, what happens with this Penta injury that kind of sucks. I'll get into that a little bit later. Like and subscribe. Super chats are open, and I will be reading all of your messages here a little bit later on. In the stream, we have a special bonus goal. Should we hit it with some fun stuff in there, you can check the chat for that. And right now, let's just get into this show here. I will just remind all of you if you missed it. Episode 939 of The Sound Off went up late in the afternoon yesterday, including my full gear review for AEW Full Gear, talking Survivor Series predictions and a whole bunch of other stuff. The doctor should have brought a Mentos over to Penta. You just bring it over to him and let him pop one, and I guarantee you, he'll pop that shoulder right back into that socket. He'll give the doc the thumbs up. The doc will give him the thumbs up. There's your Mentos commercial. And then he gets back into the ring and he beats Solo Sikoa. Oh, man, if only. If only the doctor had a Mentos on him, we might have been able to get the rest of that match. Roman Reigns opened the show, telling OKC to acknowledge me. And that's all he got out before Cody Rhodes came out to join him or interrupt him, depending on how look at it. Cody asked the crowd in OKC what they wanted to talk about, and Cody said that Roman is a man of his word. He said the last time Reigns gave him his word, it was for a match, but this is a war. And Cody asked, what's in it for Roman? See, if Roman wanted to be, if he wanted to be 100 here, he would have looked at Cody and said, why are you here? Why are you here? What business do you have with the Vision? What business do you have with Logan Paul? But I guess we could say the same for Logan Paul. What business does Logan Paul have in Wargames, other than they have nothing else for him to do? But Roman said that he had been in the war that Cody was just joining. He said that he doesn't like Cody, Cody doesn't like him, and they don't even know each other that well. But neither one of them plays around when it comes to family. And he said half the team is his family. He said he's been invested in the Usos for a long time and would see that investment through. Cody told him, understood, then all I can say is welcome to my team. And he extended a hand to him. Reigns did not accept the handshake before CM Punk's music hit, and out comes the World Heavyweight Champion. Punk asked the crowd to acknowledge all three of them. This is an all-star War Games. He didn't need Roman's word because he saved his life in last year's War Games. Roman immediately shot back that Punk ruined his life 4 months later. Punk knew that gave Roman a reason to stab him in the back, but Punk was not worried because that would mean that Roman would be stabbing the Usos in the back. And he knows that, and he sarcastically said that Roman would never be mean to his own family or put them between a rock and a hard place. Cody tried to settle things down. Punk asked Cody, why did you refer to this as your team? Punk reminded him that this was his show. You can be the QB on Fridays, but on Mondays, I'm the champion. Roman said that Punk and Cody should just whip them out and start measuring. Is that allowed on Netflix? I don't know. I know it's not basic cable, but I don't think Netflix would like that very much. I agree. The Mentos theme song is still top tier of all time. There's no reason why that shouldn't be on TV today. I'm sorry. You can't tell me that you can't find an ad agency that can't rekindle that whole ad campaign and come up with a whole new slate of Mentos commercials. They would make a boatload of money. I don't know why they don't do them anymore. So Roman didn't care whose team it was. He said he hated Paul Heyman, he hated the Vision. Punk could count on the fact that Roman hated them more than he hated him. Roman left the ring, but not before saying that the title would look better on my shoulder. And as he's leaving, you could hear Punk in the background say, which title are you referring to? And Roman said, well, that's for you to figure out. Establishing some friction here between the three amigos, the three presumed team captains here in War Games. So that was the whole purpose of the segment here, was to establish some tension here as we head into Saturday. Are they going to be able to coexist? I mean, this is like the ultimate can they coexist situation, right? Can they coexist? Can they get along long enough to be able to beat the bad guys? Pretty basic stuff. Backstage, speaking of the bad guys, Paul Heyman is with his War Games team, all but Brock Lesnar. And he's begging Drew McIntyre to be on his best behavior tonight because technically you're still suspended, and the only reason that you are allowed into this building is because I picked you to be on the War Games team. But if you do so much as yell boo at somebody, they're just looking for a reason to bounce you out of here. So please, be on your best behavior. He says there's going to be a tag team match tonight for the War Games advantage. Drew is going to be in it. Logan Paul suggested that Brock Lesnar should be Drew's partner. Heyman said, it's not going to be Brock Lesnar. And then Logan suggested Braun Breaker. Heyman said no. And then he suggested Bronson Reed, and Heyman said no. And this all led to the realization on Logan's face, I'm the partner. And Heyman said yes, and Logan called it a wise choice. So that set up our main event for tonight, where Drew and Logan, who weren't they partners at SummerSlam? They were, weren't they? It was Drew and Logan against Bad Bunny, and who was the other guy? I already forgot. But I think that was the SummerSlam match. Anyway, they would be in the main event tonight. In the first of 2 quarterfinal round matches in the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament, we had Gunther against Carmelo Hayes, who got the big upset win over Bronson Reed. Randy Orton, thank you. Can you really blame me, though? Randy Orton has basically disappeared. He's vanished off the face of the earth now for months. Couldn't remember who Jelly Roll's partner was. Randy Orton. What's he doing these days? He's sitting back. He's just lounging out, having fun. He'll be watching Wargames from the comfort of his own couch this weekend with the missus. So Gunther held control through a commercial break. He cut off Hayes' comeback when they came back. When the show came back, not Carmelo. There was a few chants for Hayes in here. Gunther looked into the camera at one point and he questioned why he even had to wrestle him. He goes, what did he do to deserve this? What did he do to earn this spot? He's saying it to the camera. Well, I mean, he beat Bronson Reed on Friday. Although I guess you could argue he really didn't beat Bronson Reed. It was more Cody Rhodes who beat Bronson Reed. But that's why he's here. Gunther tried for a powerbomb. Hayes, though, countered into a DDT. This led to a second commercial break. Hayes ducked a chop on the apron. Gunther's arm at that point hit the ring post. Hayes tried a slingshot DDT onto the apron, and they both basically fell to the ground. Gunther completely missed. He grazed the apron on the way down, and they all splattered on the floor. Hayes followed with a flip dive, and then backdropped Gunther into the timekeeper's area. Gunther was not about to let Hayes attempt a countout win, though. So he dumped Carmelo into the timekeeper's area next. Hayes quickly re-emerged, though, on top of the barricade over there, and he dropped Gunther with a leaping DDT. And then he scampered back into the ring, and they wanted you to believe that after the way he won on Friday, he could potentially pull it off for a second time here. And Gunther might just get counted out. But of course, Gunther made it back into the ring just in the nick of time. So the crowd was really into things now by this point. Hayes went for nothing but net. Gunther dodged it, absolutely clobbered him with a clothesline, and then a power bomb, but only got a near fall. And everybody cheered because they bought into that as the potential finish. Gunther applied the sleeper hold, and you'd think, okay, well, this is it, right? In a matter of moments here, it's going to all be over. And they allowed him, though, to struggle. And he actually was able to fight to his feet, but it wasn't enough. Gunther dropped him with a second power bomb, this time with a stack, and he got the pin to advance to the semifinals. This was another week, and this was another banger for Gunther in this tournament. I loved the match with Javon Evans last week. I really liked the match tonight. A few notches below that one, but still a very good match with Carmelo Hayes, who more than held up his end of things. I mean, he looked even more impressive here than he did in the match with Reed, because Reed really had more of the offense, and it wasn't really, that match was not designed to really get Carmelo Hayes over. It wasn't designed as like a highlight reel for him so much as it was to keep Reed strong going into Wargames and then have all the baby faces come out and cost him and get their revenge, and then he kind of ekes on by. Tonight, he really went, toe-to-toe with this man, and he stood his ground, and there were some great near falls, and he held his own. He held out as long as he could until, he just couldn't anymore. It was a very competitive match, more competitive than I was probably thinking it would be. I would love to think that it's going to lead to more of a sustained push on SmackDown for Hayes, but really, what is it going to lead to? It's going to lead to a match with The Miz, and after that runs its course, who the hell knows? I really, there was a period of time early on when Triple H took over where I would have said that I had, it was something I felt when I used to watch Lucha Underground, where I just couldn't stand so much of the WWE product, and there was no goodwill there. I automatically just assumed the worst. This guy's going to get buried. This guy's going to get his legs cut off. There was just no reason to believe that some of the people that I was a fan of, or the people who really deserve to have a spotlight shown on them, that Vince McMahon was going to do that. And in many cases, he didn't. But when I watched Lucha Underground, I remember I was so, into what they were doing and the stories that they were telling that even if there was a week where maybe they did something that made me go, I don't know about that. But you know what? I give them the benefit of the doubt. And rarely would they ever let me down. That's how I felt about Triple H very early on when he took over the book, here in this company. I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I had no reason at that point to think that, they were going to drop trumpets or blaring. But it was not John Cena. It was a mini Cena. They had a little person dressed up as John Cena. Apparently, from what I could ascertain here, this guy is a wrestler from the Big Little Brawlers reality show. His name is Psycho. Remember Psycho Stu? It was spelled the same way, S-Y-K-O. So, he's a wrestler named Psycho. Oh, I knew that Issa would love that thumbnail. What's going on, Issa? NYC Demon Diva, she is in love with the tribal chief in the thumbnail of tonight's video. See, I may have to swap him out, though, now, when I'm done here, and put a picture of Brock slipping and falling on his ass. See, to me, that should be the thumbnail for tonight's video, but now, because I know she likes it so much, I may have to leave it alone and keep it the way it is. But yes, we had Mini Cena, and they had Mini Stu the cameraman. Take a look at this. This is an actual image from tonight's show. I want you to look at this image here, right? Mini Stu was being filmed by actual Stu the cameraman. This is like Stuception here in this image. But again, I'm watching this segment and I felt like I was watching an episode of Raw from 2005. So Mini Cena, he runs down to the ring with fun-size Stu and actual Stu hauling ass behind him. And then at ringside, they showed actual Stu filming with fun-size Stu standing right next to him on a box. Get him a couple of extra inches in height. So Dom is in the ring now, and he is facing Mini Cena. And he is having a very difficult time not busting out laughing here in this segment. He is nearly corpsing. He slipped a little bit there a couple of times. He almost corpsed in the middle of the ring. And he told Mini Cena that he could drop him where he stands, but he's going to let him walk away. And Dom, again, he was doing all he could just not to burst out laughing here. Mini Cena gave the fine speech line that we've heard Cena give before. Years younger. Right now, this is the current bracket for the tournament as things stand. And you see there what our semifinal match is going to be on the right side of that bracket. We are now going to get, next week, Gunther against Solo Sikoa.
Here are the 5 things you need to know to start your day. Deadline for a peace deal came and went.
Studies are showing.
Do something like this. Give classics. I was actually in bed last night for a little bit before I decided to come down to the office and play some Black Ops 7 last night. But before I did that, I was watching the 1991 Survivor Series. And I wanted to watch The Gravest Challenge all over again with Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker for the WWF Championship. But I watched those 2 Survivor Series matches at the start of the show. First one captained by Roddy Piper against Ric Flair and DiBiase's team. The second one, which was fucking awful, was Hacksaw Jim Duggan's team against Mr. Fuji's team with the Berserker and Hercules. But I'm watching this and I'm like, oh man, Survivor Series, it's a classic. I used to love Survivor Series. It used to be fun. It used to be something that was a time-honored tradition in WWE. And as the years went on, the concept kind of lost its place. The concept has been roughly killed off, largely killed off. And we're going to see a revitalization of those Survivor Series matches on Friday when we see Team Sami Zayn against the MFTs in a 5-on-5 elimination match. But I'm watching this and I'm kind of reliving my old childhood memories and why I used to love Survivor Series. And then a realization hit me when I was watching this Monday Night Raw, and I said, who gives a shit about any of this? I genuinely don't give a shit. Am I excited to see the men's Wargames match? Yes. Look at the star power that's in there. Look at the story that could come out of it. WWE has seemingly lost the plot for what makes these Survivor Series shows special. They were supposed to do one thing tonight, and they didn't do that one thing. The question of why is the biggest and most important question when it comes to storytelling. When it comes to why something happens, in this case, on our professional wrestling show for 2.5 hours. The question of why is the most important. WWE did not answer that question. WWE sent Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes out there on a Monday night to share the ring together. And they didn't give me a reason of why. Why do they want to battle the Vision in Wargames? What is on the line? Why is it so important to them? They didn't answer that one singular question tonight.
Come on now, what the hell?
All we got was a Monday Night Raw to start at 8:30, or it really did start at 8:30, at 8 o'clock. And that opening segment took at least
God damn it.
20 minutes.
There's nowhere to hide.
And none of those top three guys answer the question of why. Why do they dislike the Vision? Why do they want to battle the Vision? What exactly is on the line here? What is the importance of this match? How is this match going to change the trajectory of WWE? What is going to happen in the aftermath of this Wargames match? How is the WWE going to look different after this Saturday? None of these questions were answered. And if you feel any indifference, and if you feel any kind of blasé feeling towards the WWE product in general, but in this case going into Survivor Series, that's the reason why. That's the reason why. We got a team called The Vision going into Wargames against some of WWE's biggest stars ever. And the only thing that doesn't have any vision is Triple H and his creative team. Because, once again, they take advantage of the paying customer. They think they can get away with it. And this is why people don't really give them enough of a hard time. I will do no such thing and ignore this issue. WWE, once again, has taken the advantage of the paying customer. There's already 35,000 going up to 36,000 tickets out the door. There'll probably be close to 40 by the time bell time hits on Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. WWE is taking advantage of their fan base, of their paying customer, by simply giving you a star-studded match and did not cover their bases and did not give you a answer as to why, and give us a clear direction about what WWE is going to do. How is it going to look after Survivor Series is over? As far as I'm concerned, these matches don't even really need to be taking place because there's nothing on the line. Is Monday Night Raw hanging in the balance? Is there a power struggle on Monday Night Raw that we might not be aware of? Does Monday Night Raw feel like it's being threatened? No. No, no, and no. All I see is a collection of guys in a match, and WWE is charging premium price because Brock Lesnar's in this match, because Roman Reigns is in this match, because Cody Rhodes is in this match, and because CM Punk is in this match. Logan Paul is in this match. You basically have all the top guys in this one singular match. And WWE thinks that they could skimp and take these shortcuts to get there. But where is the story? What is on the line? Why should I care? Why is Monday Night Raw in a position with the Vision and the babyfaces here? What is Monday Night Raw going to look like? Is Monday Night Raw being threatened? Is Monday Night Raw and the power of Monday Night hanging in the balance? Fuck do I know? I don't get it. WWE dropped the ball. Then they want to sell you on the go-home show for the final push going into the pay-per-view, and then they want to give you a Vince McMahon-like comedic special at the end of the show. The advantage matches are going to take place tonight in the main event on Monday Night Raw. It's great. I would give a shit about the advantage match and who actually has advantage on Saturday Night at Wargames if I actually gave a shit about the rest of the fucking build to this piss-poor fucking show. How do you expect me to care about the advantage matches when you haven't given me a reason to care about the fucking match and the story going into the match? Do they not realize that one has to do with the other? Do they not realize that one directly affects the other? Why are we going to be excited and interested in advantage matches when they haven't given us any reason to care about what the fuck is happening and what the reason for these matches is? Why these matches are taking place? What is that? This is the same thing that I mentioned on Saturday when we discussed Full Gear. One company's doing too much, the other company is doing too little. The other company wants to give, blood, violence, and the other company, give me your money, we'll give you the stars, and we don't really need to give you an explanation as to why anything's happening, but you get the stars. Said it once, gonna say it again, and I'm sure I will reiterate that again and again and again before the year is over. This year creatively fucking sucks. Honestly. The Wargames match for the men is lucky that they have the star power that they have in that match, and the stars have been aligned to get everybody in that match at the same time. If they didn't, then we have nothing. And that's exactly how you should be feeling about Survivor Series. Yeah, because you can give me a big name, and a big name, and a fucking 10-man Wargames match that on paper looks like it's the biggest match in the history of this fucking concept. But if there is no reason, if there is no reason to care, if there is no intrigue, if there is no tensions between both sides, to a point where Wargames is going to only help accelerate that, WWE's missing the entire point of the concept. Survivor Series in itself is, right now, not being treated as an important show by WWE. I honestly feel like Survivor Series is being mishandled. I feel like WWE is abusing the Survivor Series, pretending like it's something it's really not. Survivor Series hasn't felt important in years. They've only masked its problems and masked its oldness and its outdated feeling by giving us Wargames. And then at the same time, WWE has abused the Wargames concept and has watered down the Wargames concept. Triple H might not agree. Triple H might be in denial. But Triple H is doing the same thing with his lovely Wargames concept that he brought back while he was in charge of NXT Black and Gold, because Vince didn't want anything to do with it because it wasn't a WWE concept. Triple H is going to be in denial, but I'm going to spit the truth at you. He understands. He'll never admit it, but I'm sure he understands because all he sees is the fucking money coming on in for this outdated concept. Wargames is being treated by Triple H the same way his father-in-law killed off Hell in a Cell.
Oh, what the hell?
I thought Triple H was supposed to be different. I thought Triple H wasn't going to make the same mistakes that his father-in-law made. Yet here we are. Yet here we are. We got names thrown into a Wargames match with no reason to fucking give a shit. We got no answer to the question of why. We got nothing tangible on the line. Nobody even cared to explain why it's so important for them to be in this match and win this match. Why? Why? All I got is Roman Reigns don't like Cody. Roman Reigns don't like Punk. Roman Reigns says the World Championship. Take your pick. Would look a lot better on him than it does on CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. At least Becky Lynch gave us a reason that she wants to eradicate AJ Lee from WWE. I'll take that as a solid reason as to why Becky wants to be in this match. The Wargames concept is slowly dying. It is. It doesn't need to happen every year. The build was awful. Came together in the last three and a half weeks. And then they want to sell you on a fucking go-home segment with advantage matches that don't mean anything and everybody brawling with 10 seconds left of airtime. And then they make a hard cutoff at 10:29. Fantastic. I'm sure that got everybody excited about Survivor Series. Those are just my criticisms on what we saw tonight. But hey, look, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes are in it. You can agree with me, you can disagree with me. I don't give a shit. I feel nothing but apathy towards both of these companies. Nobody is doing anything to make the shows better. Nobody. They just go about doing what they want to do because they know better than everybody else. There's very little reason to care. There's no writing that is going to make you give a shit about any of this. They just throw the stars out there and then you're expected to fucking care. It's a tough watch this year, man. It is a tough watch. To not only be a fan, but to be a content creator. Like, they don't give me anything. Like, what are you giving me? What are you giving me? There are more problems between Reigns, Cody, and Punk than there are between the baby faces and the heels. Now, is that done by design? Or is the writing team that fucking haphazard, and is the writing team that fucking clueless and lazy? But all I know is if you're putting Team 1 and Team 2 inside a fucking cage with a double ring, and there's gonna be 10 combatants in the ring, shouldn't you have a fucking good reason as to why you're going to war with these guys against those guys? Why? Why is it so important to you? Why does it matter to you? Why are you doing it? None of these questions were answered. You're gonna get two type of people. Three type of people. People like me who want a fucking reason and a goddamn good one, a story for us to care about. Then you're gonna get the person that doesn't give a shit and wants to see the fucking stars wrestle, and they don't really give a shit why the story is there or what the story is. And then you're not gonna get people who care at all about anything. There's one complete extreme, there's indifference, and then there's just the other side of the spectrum that some people just don't give a shit. Roman says because he hates the Vision. Okay, so Hologram, I could ask you another question. I could ask you another question as a follow-up. Roman says he hates the Vision. Why? Do you see where I went with that? Why? It's the most important question that you could possibly answer when you are telling stories. Why is this happening? Why are these people there? Why do they want to go to war? Why are they teaming together for the common good? Why? And if that's too difficult to grasp, I'm sorry, I've been doing this for 8 years. Not changing for a fucking single soul. I'm going to continue to be hard on these companies because they don't deserve the attention that they are seeking. And everything that they've done has fallen flat on its face this year. WWE and AEW both. I am not falling for their bullshit. I don't give a shit who you give me. I don't give a shit how much money you're making. The amount of money you're making doesn't equate to a good product. The money you're making only equates to you being more lazy and skimping on all the little minor details, which you weren't doing before, but now you seem to just overlook because you got all that money coming in. No, we don't do that here. So we'll go over that. The Advantage matches took place this week. So we got a tape SmackDown on Friday for the ladies' Advantage, and we got a tag team match with the Usos, Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre tonight for the men's Advantage. The John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament took place again tonight. The second round begins. We were supposed to get Penta versus Solo Sikoa and a Penta win, but the match was cut short due to a real injury that took place in the first third of the match. And Penta had to be the one, unfortunately, to get hurt here. And by that, Solo Sikoa advances to the next round to wrestle Gunther one-on-one, who beat Carmelo Hayes tonight in easily the best thing on the entire show. So we are looking at a Gunther versus Solo Sikoa match that nobody asked for. Gee, I wonder who's going to win that one. As if we didn't know already. On Friday, I thought everybody was trolling me, and it's even worse on Friday night. I will not be revealing anything. You will wait for my disgust on Friday. Carmelo Hayes and Gunther was easily the best thing on the entire show. We'll break down that match. And what I think is Carmelo Hayes showing management, hey, listen, I don't know who else you got in the pipeline for a fucking push this year, but me, I better be in that discussion come January to start the new year. AJ Lee and Becky Lynch get into it tonight. The women's Wargames get into it tonight. And Rey Mysterio versus JD McDonough. JD McDonough's having a fantastic stretch the last week and a half, 2 weeks. He's in there with legit Hall of Famers. And he is killing it. Nice to see him get some rub. This is your Monday Night Raw review for November 24, 2025. I am your host, JD from New York. Thank you guys for joining me on this Monday night. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. We got some great... Yes, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. 6 million views for their stare down last week at Madison Square Garden. That's a lot of people that didn't want to see it. The quicker you realize the IWC is made up of 99% fucking retards, and then people like me and Solomonster and BC and Just Alex, guys who have their fucking heads on straight, Don Tony. The quicker you will understand. Seriously. This video package took about 6 minutes. Man, I love when my pro wrestling starts on a Monday night and I gotta get 6 minutes of a video package, which is fine. But then that motherfucker better lead straight into something that actually matters. So we got 6 minutes of video package, and then we get Roman Reigns coming on out. He's throwing the ones up there, he's wearing his new merch. Slow walks to the ring like The Undertaker in his fucking prime. Comes out. And by the time this guy speaks, it's another 6 minutes. So Roman Reigns is in there. Fans are chanting, OTC, OTC. He comes out and says, OKC, acknowledge me. Roman Reigns said nothing else. I'm still looking for the why. Why is Roman back here? Why is Roman aligning himself with the babyfaces here? So, we all acknowledge Roman Reigns after 15 fucking minutes go by. Cody Rhodes then comes out. Cody Rhodes comes out. And everybody's got to get their woes in because, you know, it's fucking American Idol on WWE television. Cody's in the ring. Cody Rhodes! Great job, Oklahoma. Great job. Cody speaks to Roman and told Roman he acknowledges that he is a man of his word. He said the last time he gave him his word, it was about a match. But this time, they are going to war. He asked Roman Reigns, what's in it for you? All right. That's a feasible question. Why are you here, Roman? Let's see if Roman Reigns answers. Reigns said last time he checked, he's been in this war, and you're just now joining. He says he doesn't like Cody, and Cody doesn't like him. We don't even know each other all that well. Still waiting for a reason as to why you're here. Cody asked you why you were here. You've yet to answer that question. He said there is one thing he knows about him, and that is they don't play around when it comes to their family. He said last time he checked, half of their team is his bloodline. And before they were on his team, they were in my bloodline. He says that means he has been invested in the Usos for a long time. I'm here to see this investment through. So Roman went from saying he doesn't like the Vision, that he's here to battle the Vision. He's been here from the beginning. He threw it back at Cody saying that he just got here and he just threw his name into the fucking discussion for this match against the Vision. And then he says he's here to see his investments through with the Usos. So he's basically here to back up the Usos. So you're here to see the Usos and your family get the win. and to see your investment and everything that you built up, see all of that through and see it successful. Still doesn't answer the question of why? Why does this matter to you so much? You told your family I'd see you at Christmas, while you walked out on them after they cost you a match against Bronson Reed at Crown Jewel. None of that was even mentioned here. The Usos...
Dying Light, the Beast, 20% off. Buy now.
Was... Chat. Is it me, or does this writing fucking suck? If WWE had actual writers that knew what the fuck they were doing, all of these logic gaps and loopholes and deficiencies wouldn't be. We went from all of this for 20 minutes to not get a single fucking answer as to why all of this matters to them. Cody responded saying, understood. Then all I can say is, welcome to my team. He offered his hand to Roman. Reigns stared at his hand for a few seconds, which at that point CM Punk and the CM Punk sing-along started in Oklahoma. He walks out with the World Heavyweight Championship. Last week, he didn't come out with the title belt. He was looking to fight. This week, he comes out with it. Punk got in Roman's face and said, does it feel great to be alive on a Monday night in Oklahoma City or what? He then asked Oklahoma City with a side smile and a side eye aimed at Roman, acknowledge us. He told Roman, don't worry, I'm stealing your best material. This is an all-star Wargames team. Punk said last year at Wargames he remembers saving Roman's life. He did. He did. If you guys remember, Roman Reigns was on that table after Bronson Reed came off the top of the cage with a tsunami splash that, in the end, broke his foot, which he still hasn't recovered 100% from. CM Punk was the one who pulled Roman to safety. That's why he said that. Just to make sure you guys were aware of what he meant there. He saved Roman's life. Roman replied, then 4 months later, you ruined it. Punk says he doesn't fear Roman stabbing him in the back because that would mean stabbing his cousins in the back. He said with a snarky tone, he would never be mean to his own family, would he? Cody says they're all on the same team. Punk asked if he heard Cody refer to it as his team. Punk said this is Monday night on Netflix, not SmackDown on the USA Network. They told Cody he could be the quarterback on Fridays, but on Monday, they call me the champ. Roman interjected and says that they might as well pull them out and measure them now. Meaning that it is just a whose dick is bigger contest now. He said it's ridiculous. He doesn't care whose team it is. He says he doesn't like either of them, but they can agree that he hates Paul Heyman and he hates the Vision. That's my word. That's my promise. That be with the injustice that Punk has a problem with Roman. How is that going to make the following Monday show look? Am I making sense? Have you heard this from anybody else? Has anybody else brought this to any sort of discussion? Other than that, fans loved it. Roman, Cody, and Punk in the opening segment. You can't get any bigger than that. They cut to Paul Heyman backstage with the Vision and Drew McIntyre. was everything that match should have been. Now, granted, it was a first-round match. Can't give everything away in the first-round match. It was more likely that Melo would have gotten what he got tonight over Javon Evans in the first round with that John Cena's name was attached to, that WWE tried to run through this year was a crowd pop for John Cena's theme and John Cena's entrance, only to find out that John Cena, not John Cena, made an appearance in Oklahoma City. Dom, on Monday, who's having a better week than J.D. McDonough? Now, he lost all 3 matches, but it doesn't matter. Why do people want to wrestle J.D. McDonough? Because J.D. McDonough does not have bad matches. Guy's a fucking savage in there. The guy is a demon. He's like a Call of Duty demon that goes... And you'll become a star like she made the other 3 a star.
Well, I will end the video. Made this long enough. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below, y'all want to see more. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Thank you for watching, thank you for all the support.